At the COVID post-mortem, the Prime Minister began with an apology.
I just wanted to start by saying how deeply sorry I am to all of those who lost loved ones, family members through the pandemic. The economic intervention that I'm announcing today is unprecedented in the history of the British state.
Back then, Rishi Sunak was the brand new Chancellor, whose furlough scheme supported millions of jobs. But where others have described dysfunction in Number 10 and frustration with Boris Johnson, he didn't see it.
My interactions with Number 10 and the Cabinet Office during this period felt fine to me. Again, I go back to, broadly, was I able to input advice to the Prime Minister or when decisions were being made? I felt I was.
Then the policy he's most closely associated with, Eat Out to Help Out, subsidising people to dine at restaurants in the summer of 2020.
My primary concern was protecting millions of jobs of particularly vulnerable people who worked in this industry. All the data, all the evidence, all the polling, all the input from those companies suggested that unless we did something, many of those jobs would have been at risk with devastating consequences for those people.
But why did he not raise it with the scientists who feared it would increase transmission of the virus?
Why would I raise it as a risk when I didn't believe that it was, because it was designed in the context of a safe reopening? The onus is surely on the people who now believe that it was a risk to have raised it at the time when something could have been done about it if they felt strongly. I'm very clear that I don't believe that it was.
Other witnesses at this inquiry have been scathing of Rishi Sunak's decisions during this period. He was branded Dr. Death by a government scientist and accused of wanting to let people die rather than have another lockdown. He's mounted a staunch defence, but for some of the families here, it was hard to swallow.
The Eat Out to Help Out scheme fueled the second wave, created and fueled the second wave, and that is unforgivable.
Research suggests it drove some infections, but the second wave would have come anyway. The Prime Minister hoping to leave the lockdown arguments behind him as other political storms loom. Tamara Cohen, Sky News at the COVID inquiry.